Hi, this is Tweak. Today we're going to tweak some fabric and make some lovely Softie blankets. We have dragons and knights, we have dogs and cats, and zebras and elephants, more cats, and some licensed fabrics. Join me, it's going to be a lot of fun. When you go choose your fabric, there are hundreds of images there for you to look at. If you choose an image that is a licensed image, such as any sports team or any cartoon image, such as I have Charlie Brown here, you will pay more for that fabric because it is a licensed image. But there are hundreds of others. I've picked out here elephants and zebras. And so you pick out the fabric that you like, and if you would like to make a child's or baby blanket, you would get 1 yard of fabric. And if you want to make an adult size blanket, you'd get 2 yards of fabric. The width doesn't matter so much, the length does. And as you're picking out your fabric, then you pick an accompanying yarn to go with it. We're basically going to put an edging around this fleece and tweak it. Once you've chosen your fabric, we have cute little elephants here. This is a 1 yard piece of fabric, and this will be a beautiful baby blanket for some lucky kid. You choose an accompanying yarn. I literally take the fabric down the yarn aisle and I hold it up to find yarns that I think complement the fabric. I've chosen a yellow and a blue. So we've got our colors, we've got our 1 yard of fleece. Now we have to prepare the fleece. We need to remove the excess edges that are on it. On one side you'll find usually a rolled edge that goes the line of the piece. You can see how that's rolled up, and what I simply do is unroll it a little bit so that you can see where the edge is. We're going to remove that excess edge. You can see that there. And we're going to cut that off so that when we start punching holes into the fabric, we have a nice clean edge in the fleece to work with. On the other side of the fabric is usually a piece that identifies where you've purchased it. And it's self-explanatory here. We don't want that in the finished piece, so very easy to follow that line and cut it off. Then we're going to come back with a clean piece and start punching holes along the perimeter of the blanket, and then we'll start tweaking it. As you cut away the excess on the rolled edge, it may present a bit more of a challenge, but do the best you can. Eventually, in the end, these stitches will hide any imperfections. So now that you have your fabric prepared by removing the excess, you need to start punching holes into it. And we do that with our needle puncher. This is a Fisker's needle puncher. And we're going to go along the perimeter of the fabric all the way around and punch holes into it. It has to be a needle punch, not a paper puncher, or you're going to really get a sore wrist from trying to punch holes. It might seem harder to punch through than it is. I'm sure you can do it. On my needle puncher, I put a small black mark on it so that I know how far in on the fabric to move as I punch along, and that keeps me with a pretty even line. As a measured guide, I place the edge of the puncher next to the hole I previously punched. Coming to the end here of the punching. Needle punch makes fast work of this process, and we're done. Done with the needle puncher. Okay, as you can see, this is a lighter fabric, it's easier to see. But you can see that the punches are pretty much, they're in good stead there. If you want to rest your hand along the process and you think you might lose your way, flip over to the back of the fabric and you can see where the little punch indentations are. So if you want to stop at some point and rest your hand, you can just pick up where you left off by looking at the back to see where the punches were. If the punches are a little bit irregular, even though you use your guide on the puncher itself, that's okay. That makes it look more homemade. And the stitches will help to hide any imperfections in that regard. It'll be very pretty in the end, you'll see. Now we have the perimeter punched out and it's time to add the stitches. You'll need your yarn, which is a 4-weight, which means there's 4 little strands. I don't use anything thinner and I don't use anything thicker because the needle I'm using, the crochet hook, is a size G, and that's just what I use. It's comfortable for me. So what we do here is we poke this needle into one of the holes. Just come back a little bit here. Very easily they go into the fabric. And we're going to grab your yarn color and we're going to pull that through. So what you've done now is just pull the yarn through that one hole, and we're going to make a little knot. Very simple knot. And then I'm going to tie it again. Okay, so what we've got now is simply a piece of yarn in the hole with a knot. Now I'm going to put the hook back underneath in the same hole, and we're going to pull the yarn through. So now I have a little hook there, and we're going to take the hook again, and we're going to pull the yarn through and repeat that 2 more times. So you're going to have a chain of 3 little stitches. That starts the first line in your blanket. Now we're going to repeat the process. This time, instead of just punching right through, I'm going to hook a little of the yarn onto the hook first. Then I'm going to go in to the next hole and repeat the process. Pull this through. Now you're going to have 2 lines there of pieces of yarn. You're going to pull the hook through 2. You have 2 more left stitches here, and pull it again. That's called a double crochet stitch. Repeat the process. I've got my little stitch there. I'm going to run the hook around, stick it through the next adjoining hole, grab the yarn up through, and you've got the 2 here. Pull through, and you're getting a line going here. Let's do it again. I got 2 here. Push through, come back, hook that yarn in, and you have 2 lines of yarn. You're going to pull through the first 2 and pull through again. And you see what's happening here. You're starting to add your trim to the blanket. Do it again. Okay, I'll try to slow it down. Grab this, push through, grab it again, and pull up. You've got 1, 2, you're going to pull through and pull through. And you may notice that that little string that was left over from the first knot, I'm kind of hiding or burying it as I go here. See how it's just hanging out there? It's just going to disappear. So I'm going to take this around again, poke through the hole. If you lost the hole, give the fabric a little stretch and you'll find it. And we're going to pull through, and go 2, and go 2. That's what we have so far. I'm coming up to a corner. And when you get to the corner, the fabric, like I said, will accommodate at least 6 stitches, and that's what I do for a corner. So I go through the same hole, and I do 6 of these double crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, just jam them all into the same hole. 5. Did you think you have 5 already? Then count. There's the hole. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've already got my 6 stitches in it. That creates a corner. See how that turns out? Then you repeat the process. Take the hook, go around, go into the next hole that you've punched, pull the yarn back through, pull through the first 2, pull for the second 2, and you're loaded up to go again. Repeat this process all the way around the length of the blanket. A few more stitches here. If you are a fast crocheter, you could easily get a project like this done in a day. It makes a wonderful gift. And every little kid that I've ever known that's gotten a Softie has loved it because they're soft. So I'm ready to stop here and hook the 2 together. And that's by simply counting up 1, 2, 3 stitches and sending my hook into the next stitch from the 3rd up. Pull through, and now I'm going to do a couple of slip stitches. 1, 2, and I'm going to cut that and put a knot. Done with the blue. See this loop right here? I'm going to gently pull the yarn through the loop and you make a knot. And what I'm going to do is hide this leftover piece, come back underneath and pull it through, come back underneath the next stitch, pull it through, and what you're doing, you're just hiding that excess piece. It will disappear into the rest of the yarn, as you can see. And I think I'll do one more, and then I'll make a stitch, snip close, and there you go. We're done with this part. Now that could be a perfectly lovely ending to this Softie right now, but I like to add another touch, and that is another color. Choose your color. I chose the yellow because I think the yellow will bring out the pattern in the elephant's blanket. Put the yarn over to my left. Got the end of the yarn. Start right about where I was trying to hide that leftover light blue, and I'm going to come under the top stitch and pull the yarn through and make a knot. Very simple knot. Tie it again so it doesn't come loose. Now I'm going to do, I think it's called the slip stitch. And you're going to come in, see there's each little stitch along here. You're going to come under and pull this through. Go to the next one and pull it through and pull it through. Next one. Pull the yarn through, pull it through. Here again you're making, there's one little notch there. One loop, you're going to go under, pull up, then you have two loops, and you're going to pull the yarn through, and you're ending up with a little slip stitch on the top. This moves a lot quicker than the double crochet stitch, and you can see what's happening here. And you just follow your stitches around. This time you don't have to worry about the corner, because each stitch leads you to the next. Go underneath that stitch, pull up under, pull through. And you can see what you're doing here. You're adding another element to the blanket. This makes the colors pop. It's very pleasant. Coming to the end, a few more stitches. Like I said, you poke under there, you get two loops, pull it through, poke under, bring two loops, pull it through, and now we're going to end. So I'm going to stick the hook through again, the first one we started, this row, pull through the two, and now I'm going to come under here and end it. I will actually make a few more stitches so that I can hide the final knot. I'll show you how to do that. Maybe one more. You're just repeating the pattern you did all the way around. So, done with the hook. Make a snip. Actually, I do need the hook one more time to bring it through. And there you have your knot at the end. I just go underneath and pull it through the stitches that are already here to hide that ending a little bit. Okay, yarn's pretty forgiving, so let's pull it under. And there, I think that's good. And I'm going to snip that close to where the loop is, and it disappears. And there we are, a Softie anyone would want to snuggle into. I'll show you another one that I've done. Again, if you use a licensed pattern or design, you're going to pay a little more for the fabric, but I absolutely love the way this one turned out. You pick the design of the fabric, you pick the complementary yarn colors, poke a few holes, make a few stitches, and there you have it. A lovely tweaked blanket. If you've enjoyed what we've worked on today, then give us a like, leave a comment in the comment section, and please subscribe to our channel. I'll see you next time on Tweaks with Tweak.